I was flipping a house with a contractor friend of mine a few years back, and the buyers came back to us after the home inspection. They want us to do some repairs. I talked to my friend, and we figured because he's a contractor, we can get all this stuff done a lot cheaper rather than offering them a credit. And so that's what we did. So come the day of the closing, we're supposed to close on like a Friday, late morning. They do their final walkthrough, and I get a call from my attorney, who happens to be my father. And he's like, Ryan, they did their final walkthrough, and they don't like the way the repairs were done. They want a $2,500 credit in order to close today. So my first inclination was just to tell them, the deal was off. But I talked to my business partner, and he said, well, let's offer them $1,000. Maybe there was something that was not done 100% the way they wanted or whatever, but that should more than cover it. So we offer them the $1,000, and they say, no, we want $2,000 minimum, or we're not going to close. So my business partner and I, we dug our heels in, we're stubborn, and we said, okay, fine, we're not closing. So everybody actually went home, we left the closing, and the closing was canceled. So have a little time to cool down. My business partner and I talk a little bit more, and we say, we look at how much it's going to cost us if we had to put the house back on the market, and we figure, walking away from this deal over $1,000 really doesn't make sense, even if we feel like we were in the right. So we do offer them the extra $1,000. We get the deal closed that afternoon. They kept the buyers in a separate room from us at the closing. Not that we would have flipped out or anything, but that is a real thing that sometimes when buyers and sellers have bad, situations, sometimes they close in different rooms and things like that, so that there's no, arguments or whatever. But it taught me an important lesson, which is how much power the buyer has on the day of the closing, especially if you leave wiggle room in certain areas, like things like repairs. When you offer them a credit, it's very clear cut. You either gave them the credit or you didn't. When you do repairs, there's a million things that they can think, were not done properly. And I've seen it happen a couple times this year with tier 1 clients as well, where, people at the walkthrough felt repairs were not done to their satisfaction. And we're able to kind of, what I would say, hold the seller hostage on the day of the closing. I think the seller has a lot more to lose by walking away on the day of the closing in most cases, if the buyer has any leg to stand on in terms of getting out of the contract. So just be careful if you're selling a house. Try to do the credit for the repairs rather than actually agreeing to do the repairs themselves.